Hi everyone, I hope this finds you in good health. This learning is done in the merit of Tavor Lipka by Ganesha. Welcome to Emunah Until the Sunset. In these emails, I try to focus on ideas of Emunah and the Parshiot, the portions we read from the Torah. Emunah, generally translated as faith, can also be described as accustoming oneself to see all the phenomena of life as manifestations of God's presence. This week's Parsha is the final portion of the Torah, V'zot haBerakhah. This Parsha opens with the phrase, "This is the blessing which Moshe, the man of God, blessed the children of Israel with before his death. V'zot haBerakhah asher barach Moshe ish ha'elokim et b'nei Yisrael lifnei moto." The essential Torah commentator, Rashi, Rabbi Shlomo Yitzchaki, picks up on a not totally necessary phrase, before his death, lifnei moto. It's not like Moshe could bless the people after his death, so why qualify when this blessing was? Rashi says that this phrase, before his death, lifnei moto, is necessary because it shows how close it was to Moshe's end, because if not now, when? Im lo achshav, matai. Have you heard this line before? If not now, when? Or heard it anywhere besides Netflix's miniseries Unorthodox? If you do only know it from Unorthodox, I will tell you that this line was said by the earlier scholar, Rabbi Hillel, in Pirkei Avot. If I am not for myself, who will be for me? If I'm only for myself, what am I? And if not now, when? Im ein ani li, mi li. Uchshani la'atzmi, ma ani. Ve'im lo achshav, matai. Rashi was alive about 1,000 years after Rabbi Hillel said this, so surely he'd heard this line before. Perhaps he's alluding to something greater than the happenstance timing of these blessings. If not now when is a phrase that is popular, and yet the most popular phrases, when thought about deeply, are the most relevant. It reminds me of something I actually got on a fortune cookie once. The best day to plant a tree was 100 years ago, and the next best day is today. Whew, if that doesn't light a fire in you to do the thing that you keep putting off, I don't know what will. It's also not a really fatalistic phrase. It's not saying, too late, buddy, you missed it. It's saying it's not too late. Today is the best day to start. So Moshe knew when he was going to die. God had told him. So yes, when he blessed each tribe, he was acting out of urgency, but not out of short-sightedness. If he was acting out of short-sightedness, he would have given everybody the same sort of nice, touchy-feely blessing. Most of the blessings are nice, but some are just neutral. I'm not saying I'm against participation trophies, but I do think we learn an important lesson that echoes what I wrote about last week. Say what you mean, and mean what you say. It's still Sukkot, so I'll bring that idea back. In the interest of immediate gratification and getting people to leave us alone, we make empty offers that we don't mean. This week, though, I want to focus on more of the empty compliments that we give. Moshe didn't give a blanket bracha, a blessing, to all the tribes. He gave them blessings that were fitting and appropriate based on their history and their talents and abilities. Moshe wasn't falling prey to flattery or chanufah. Chanufah is an actual halachic or Torah law prohibition. But why? So what, you tell someone their speech was interesting when it wasn't, or that their singing is pretty when it isn't? Clearly it is a big deal. A flatterer tells someone who is on the wrong path that they are actually on the right path. That's heavy. And truthfully, the flatterer hurts the flatteree more than they hurt themselves. This is even more serious because the flatterer emerges from the situation feeling like a tzaddik, a righteous person. We do this often with friends. We tell them what we know they want to hear instead of telling them what they need to hear. The mental image of a skinned knee always comes to mind when I think about flattery. When we flatter, we don't heal the hurt. Instead of putting Neosporin on the knee and wrapping it in a bandage, we simply paint over it with a skin-colored paint. What good does that do other than temporarily obscuring the problem? The quote-unquote right path for a skinned knee is to heal it, to take the longer but necessary path and solve the root of the issue. We spend so much of our lives being careful, never wanting to step on anyone's toes or hurting anyone's feelings. And of course there is a place for flattery, for example, if it bolsters a relationship or helps to heal a broken friendship. But sometimes we use it too much, and we can learn from Moshe Rabbeinu on this one. This Shabbat we read the final Parsha, V'zot haBerakhah, as well as the beginning of the very first Parsha, Bereshit or Genesis. Let's juxtapose the final phrase of the final Parsha and the first phrase of the first Parsha. The final line ends with, Le'enai kol Yisrael, before the eyes all of Israel. The first line of the first Parsha is, Bereshit bara Elokim et hashamayim ve'et haaretz. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. We're all equal in that final line, before the eyes of all of Israel. There's unity there. It's a group of people who are united. And then we go right into creation of the heavens and the earth, and of humankind. In the same parsha where the heavens and the earth are assembled, so are we. We are all descended from Adam and Chava, Eve. And by having the same origin, we are equal there too. If we're all equal, descended from the same ancestors, created by the same God, shouldn't this give us insane empathy? Would we want to harmfully flatter if we knew the effect it had on others? Another oft-used phrase that's endlessly relevant. Love your fellow as yourself. haBerakhah. So the themes of this week are 1. If not now, when? Im lo achshav imatai. 2. Say what you mean what you say. And 3. Love your fellow as yourself. Chag Sameach and Shabbat Shalom. I am looking forward to starting over with this lovely group of people with Parsha Bereshit, with Genesis next week. Thanks so much for listening.